morning, children. Today I am going to discuss magnetic effect of current, chapter 2, part 2. In first part, I have discussed what is magnetic effect. Current carrying wire behaves like a magnet, and it was discovered by H.C. Oersted. It is also known as electromagnet, that I told you. Then you have learned the properties of magnets. Then also we have learned the magnetic field. Then we have learned magnetic field lines. The various properties of magnetic field lines I have discussed, like magnetic field lines starting from north and enter to the south. Crowdedness of magnetic field lines gives the strength. So magnetic field lines are very crowded at the poles. So at pole magnetic strength is maximum. No two magnetic field lines intersect each other. This is very important, children, because when two field lines intersect each other, it means what? At a one point, magnet has two directions, which is not possible. That's why while we draw the magnetic field lines, then we try that no two field lines cross each other or intersect each other. Got it, children? That's why magnetic field lines do not intersect each other, because at one point magnet has only one direction. So that much things we have discussed in the first part over there. In second part, children, we are going to discuss now the combined effect of electric and magnetic field. For that, see in this figure, if the current is passing through a straight conductor, and when the current is passed through the straight conductor, then what happens? Magnetic field also produced, because current carrying wire has a magnetic field also. If this nearby, if we put a magnetic compass, then there is a deflection in the magnetic compass. It shows that current carrying wire has a magnetic field also. But natural, a simple questions come to your mind, that what is the direction of current and what is the direction of magnetic field. For that, we use a rule that is called right hand thumbs rule. That is called what? Right hand thumb rule. It was given by Maxwell, so it is also known as Maxwell's right hand thumb rule also. Now, so when we hold a current carrying conductor with our right hand, we don't do the foolish work to hold the current carrying conductor directly. No, we assume, we imagine that we can take a pen, we can take a pencil, we can take a stick, we hold with our right hand, as I am holding here, and it is figure is given. Then what happens? Thumb indicates the direction of current, and the bent finger will give the direction of magnetic field, and both fields are perpendicular to each other. Am I clear, children? When the current is passing through the straight conductor and we hold the conductor with our right hand, that's why it is called right hand thumb rule. So thumb indicates that the direction of current, and this four bent finger will give the direction of what? Magnetic field. So by that we come to know that when a current is passed through a straight conductor, the direction of electric current is what, and direction of magnetic field is what, and it is given with the help of right hand thumb rule. After that, just we reverse the case. Rather than a straight conductor, if there is a circular conductor, if there is a circular turn and current is passing through the circular turn, then what is the direction of current and what is the direction of magnetic field? Direction of current may be the clockwise or may be anti-clockwise, but direction of magnetic field is always perpendicular to this face. Got it, children? In the case of a straight conductor, current is passing through toward the thumb, and bent finger is giving the direction of magnetic field. Suppose that this bent finger is the direction of current, then direction of magnetic field is what? Perpendicular. So that we know that when the current is passing through a circular loop, then magnetic field is perpendicular to the face of the conductor. Now children, if we want to increase the magnetic field, so if you want to increase the magnetic field is represented by capital letter B, and it is directly proportional to current. It is directly proportional to current. It is directly proportional to the number of turns, and it is inversely proportional to the radius. So magnetic field depend on three factors. If we combine all these three, then it is equal to nu n I upon r. This is a formula that we already say that unit of magnetic field is Tesla. Learn it. And this magnetic field depends on three factors. One is what? Strength of current. I stands for current. So if we increase the strength of current, the magnetic field definitely going to increase. But there is a limit that in a wire, in a conductor, a certain limit we can increase the current. Beyond that we cannot go. So there is another way to increase the magnetic field. What is another way? We increase the number of turns. If the number of turns, rather than a single turn, if the number of turns are increased, then magnetic field is increased greatly. And this is known as what? So magnetic field depends on what? Strength of current. It depends on number of turns and inversely proportional to the radius of the loop. If the radius of the loop is small, magnetic field is large, and radius of this loop is large, magnetic field is small. So magnetic field depends on three factors: number of turns, current, and radius of the loop. And when a wire is wrapped in this shape form, then it in the form of cylinder having a large number of turns, then it is known as a solenoid. So what is solenoid? A solenoid is a circular coil of wire in a shape of cylinder having large number of turns, and this is used in automobiles for the auto start of the engine. You know that, like by car there is auto start system over there. So auto start is due to the presence of solenoid. So solenoid is used for the auto start of that. So this is, so if you want to further increase the magnetic field, we have a need of solenoid. So that we learn about solenoid. Further, if we want that strength of solenoid is further increased, then what we do? We insert a soft iron inside the solenoid. If we insert the soft iron in the solenoid, then magnetic field is largely increased, and that soft iron becomes the electromagnet. Here is the question you can ask: why there is soft iron? Why not? Iron is of two types. One is soft iron, other is hard iron. Why not we use the hard iron? Because hard iron, like steel, that will take large time to become magnet, and it will take large time to demagnetize also. But if you take a soft iron, that can magnetize as well as demagnetize quickly, that for making electromagnet we are preferring soft iron. Many a times question is asking children or coming in the board, why soft iron is used for? Reason is that soft iron can be magnetized and demagnetized very quickly. So rather than soft iron, we can take a simple nails also. This is the diagram is given that we make a solenoid, and in the solenoid we insert the any iron, soft iron, and that is connected by the battery and that. And when the current is key is on, then current is flow through the solenoid, and then the iron piece what is kept inside the solenoid become the electromagnet. Electromagnet is a very strong magnet, but it is a temporary magnet. Why temporary magnet? Because it possesses its magnetic properties as long as current pass through the circuit. If the current is stopped, then iron lose its magnetic properties. That's why though it is a strong magnet, but it is a temporary magnet. So on the basis of that, so many times the question will be asking, what are the differences between permanent magnet and electromagnet, or what are the differences between permanent magnet and temporary magnet. So children, today we have learned what right hand thumbs rules. Today we learned the solenoid. Today we learned the circuit diagrams and how to make the electromagnets and what are the differences between them. So that much today we learn. Next day we can discuss another topic.